My husband and I, Mike, were introduced to hospice a year after he had had brain surgery for glioblastoma. He went through about 9 months of treatments with chemo and radiation and was doing very well. And then in January of 2023, started having symptoms again and was taken for an MRI where we discovered that the tumor was growing back. At that point, we talked about what we were going to be doing going forward, and he decided he just wanted to stay home and have whatever days he had left be peaceful and do things we wanted to do together. That's when we were introduced to hospice. I knew the word hospice. I had no idea what it meant. About 2.5 months into Mike's at-home palliative care, we knew that things were getting worse. He wasn't able to take care of himself. I was having a difficult time. And we were offered the possibility to come to live at Hospice House for him to be able to be there. I can vividly remember walking in the front doors at the Hospice House. It was warm and cozy. The fireplace was going. I felt totally supported and loved. Like I was being embraced by the entire building. It was pretty awesome. They settled Mike into his room, and I had a chance to speak with some of the nurses who came up to me like family. I've probably never quite felt so loved.
Before I was a nurse and before I knew what hospice was, my grandfather was enrolled into hospice. And that was a time when it was really scary and really overwhelming. And I just remember the sense of relief that was brought in with hospice. And I was just so grateful. I think this is a really big time in life, and I can't imagine being a nurse in a different field, because this is a time in life when people are really overwhelmed and scared, and I'm able to step in and feel like I can support people in that experience.
As a hospice nurse, we do a whole lot more than simply go in and put medications into people. We support the patients, we support their families. We try to make their life better in everything that is going on, and that's exactly what hospice did for myself and my family. My dad was on our services for 5 months. I don't know how I would have got through this experience without the support of hospice. My dad had wounds. I didn't have to take care of them. We had nurses go in and take care of them. He had challenges that required the assistance of a social worker. He got tired of being bedbound, but hospice made it possible so that he could keep going with his life for as long as he wanted to, and he did.
To us, this is a blessing, because where we come from in Colorado, they didn't have this service. All they had was hospice. And he wasn't quite ready for hospice yet. And really neither was I, to see him have to go and give up his doctors and any other help that might be out there. There was a time in 2023, he had pneumonia over 4 times in 2022. In 2023, in the first part of the year, he had pneumonia again. So Karen, our nurse, and our primary care doctor got together and put together a new plan for him, where he would stay on some of the harder medications and not go off of them anymore. And when that happened, he did not get pneumonia for 5-6 months. That gave him a little more freedom, and there was days he was not in bed all day. He was able to putz around the house, go out to the workshop that he said, "Kathy, I'm getting your workshop together," and also put a fishing lure art piece together that was brought over from Colorado. So we were so happy to have him back a little bit. And that would have happened without palliative care.
It's really a big opportunity to empower others to make decisions and to individualize that care that they're receiving. And it's really meeting people where they're at, allowing and accepting whatever's coming up during that time.
So hospice came into our life fairly quickly. My husband was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer, stage 4, and he lasted a month. He found out that he had organ failure and had a short amount of time to live. And hospice came right to the rescue in the hospital and prepared us for what was to come. We just knew that no matter what, we had all of these people to turn to, whether it was for, questions, support, even if it was just a shoulder to cry on, but also to explained to us what was happening and as he was transitioning, what we could expect.
Whenever Solon would fall and they really wanted to take a look at him, I would call, and Terry always managed to be at the other end of the county. Always. But she'd always come. She'd always show up and reassure both of us that he was probably not going to die from that thing. Eventually, but not that thing. And then there was this incredible social worker, Deb, who managed to pull out of God knows where all of the equipment that Solon needed. Wheelchairs, walkers, diapers, pads, you name it, she had it, probably in the trunk of her car. Once, when Solon took a really terrible turn for the worse, even Dr. Nelson showed up at our house on a Sunday morning. The amount of care and the compassion of this team is amazing.
You know, the real part of it is the kind of gratitude that we get back doing this kind of work. You know, it's a very tangible and a very meaningful thing, and it kind of feeds you, and it makes things worth doing, and it makes them, you know, you want to come back to work the next day.
The challenges of being around a patient who's suffering or enduring pain, they don't feel like they impact you very much as a nurse because you know you're able to do something about it. To hold a patient's hand while they're taking their last breath, knowing that their needs have been met, is just extremely powerful and rewarding as a nurse. And I feel that working at Hospice of Humboldt has allowed me to go home at the end of every shift, even the hard ones, and still tell myself, hey dude, you did something really meaningful for another person today.
I love to get to hear what they've done, what they've survived, what they've lived through, their joys, what made them happy in their lives, key things, you know, that they want to share or pass to others, things they want people to know about them and the journey they've lived. It's pretty special.
My father was very stoic, not a big talker, didn't share any of his feelings really. But when he came into the hospice house, he really bonded with Matt, one of our night nurses, and they had some really serious end-of-life conversations. So after one of the evenings that Dad was here and had his heart-to-heart with Matt, I came in early the next morning, as I always did, to check on him. And Matt had shared with me that Dad felt so fulfilled and grateful for his life, and so grateful to have his family. And the only thing he was missing was his Portland and San Francisco kids. And so I called the kids and asked them to come. And so they came. They arrived early the next morning, and we were all chatting and laughing. Dad was cracking jokes, and he was just so happy we were all there. And then that afternoon, Dad took an unexpected rapid decline and became imminently dying. And we were so fortunate that all of us were there to hold his hand while he passed. And that's really gratitude to the IEHH staff, the hospice house team that really supports and cares for everybody here. And it really lets, it let me be a daughter and not a caregiver. And it gave myself and my kids this opportunity to be with the most precious man in the world, to say our goodbyes to him. And I'll be forever eternally grateful for the team for that.
What's not fun about this job is that, people are dying. But what's fun about it is that you can just really encounter people as people, and, there are just a lot of really cool humans in the world.
We were leaving St. Joseph Hospital, and right before we left the room, somebody said, "Hey, look on Facebook Live at Hospice and look how many people are waiting here to welcome him." As we pulled onto the street, it was lined up with garbage trucks. I think every garbage truck in Humboldt County was here, and everybody cheered him on as he came in. And it was very interesting where it was emotional and people were crying, but it was like for Matt, he had this peace come over to him. And He talked to every single person that came up to him, gave them hugs, words of encouragement, and just thanking them for their friendship and how they made an impact on his life and our life. And it was amazing.
I want people to know that hospice is so much bigger than what they think it is. I think a lot of times we think that it's just really for those last days of life, but really there's a full benefit. There's months and months and months of support that we can bring.
Please take advantage of the grief support. It is so important when your loved one passes, and they are there for you. Whether you do group therapy or individual therapy with their support, it's immeasurable, and I am so grateful. I'm so grateful eternally for having hospice in my life.
Hospice, in my mind, has by far the best model of care that's ever been invented. Why in the world should my dad have to go to the doctor as opposed to the doctor coming to see him?
They were essential to the care of this dying man. And my gratitude is unending.
I can't thank them enough for what they've done. And I mean the whole team. Because if we couldn't get a hold of Karen, there was Roman. Then there was another gal in the office. They were always there for us and always very kind.
I feel really privileged and honored to get to do this work. I feel like this time of life is so special in people's lives that it's really a special gift to get to be with them.
It's really an honor to step into people's private spaces and serve. It's such a sacred time. So I always feel very fortunate to be invited into the community in that way.